Welcome, everyone. I'm Alfred Weber, and welcome to the Jesus Meetup, an introduction. And I want to just take a brief moment to introduce the Jesus Meetup, an introduction, and our very distinguished guests that I have the privilege of being with. But just some background, on Christmas Eve, 1973 in Princeton, New Jersey, I was a guest at an all-night radio metaphysical talk show. And at the end of that, I went out in the lobby and there were some friends of the radio talk show there waiting there to show us a book. And they came up with a book, and it was the Urantia book. And it was this tome they said, this is the fourth epochal revelation. And they just showed it to me with these eyes, and I looked at it. We had a spiritual moment, and I looked at it, and wow, it just sank into me. And fast forward to 1982, I was in Melbourne, Australia, and I was there. I had to be there for 6 months on some issues, and I was there on, you guessed it, Urantia book issues, and I read the Urantia book from cover to cover. I actually read it backwards from the last part, which was sort of a universe television version of the life of Jesus, backwards to the design of the cosmos and of Source, or God, who has designed it. And it's extraordinary, 1,500 pages or thereabouts. And so when Jesus came, it was an epochal revelation. And now this time they brought a book, the Urantia book. And so recently, I've met up with some friends, Marin and her husband, David, and I'm about to introduce them, and then they will introduce themselves. And we decided, let's just start a weekly program called the Jesus Meetup, which Marin and her husband have been developing. But it's based on the Urantia book, which for me goes back to Christmas Eve, 1973. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Marin Dejan. Marin, are you there?
Hi, Alfred. How are you, my dear friend?
Well, I'm very well, but tell me, please bring me into how it was that you came to the Urantia book, because I know that you and I and your husband and your community came together in this serendipitous fashion just a very short time ago. But tell me, what's your story?
You are so kind and you are so gracious. Is it okay that we say happy birthday to you today?
Happy birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday, dear Alfred. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're so precious. And this is my husband, David, who is my beloved. And so, yeah, I mean, the quickest, briefest history ever. I was born into a family with parents who were in the occult. And so I had all that background as a young girl, being trained, to be a white witch and all this kind of thing. And then in my middle school years, found myself in a Southern Baptist church, and I heard about Jesus for the first time, became a Christian, and then decided, found out I could sing, started doing some speaking and singing in a Christian ministry. And then in my adult years, I actually started a church and became a worship pastor of a very successful church. And And so then years later, about 10 years ago, found the Urantia book. And coming from the history that I came from, it was quite, as you said, quite a tome. And 2,000 pages that just absolutely changed my life, changed our lives. And so we built God Discovered, our website, and wrapped up in God Discovered is the Jesus Meetup, which is where we are socializing the life and teachings of Jesus. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I want to say something here to please note with me. Many things I learned in the Urantia book were big surprises to me, to us, and they were very challenging to what I had been taught in the occult and to what I had been taught in the cult of Christianity. So, now we're teaching how to attain the indwelling paradise Father. And this is where we have found that our spiritual growth and our power really does come from. So it's kind of where we are today. I would invite any of you now, Alfred, we could invite everyone to go to goddiscovered.net, and we can then find the Jesus Meetup section right there, kind of at the top middle. And then we'll go slow here so you guys can find it. And then if you can go to week 30, then you can follow along with us as we move through this introduction, this interview, and share it together. There we go. All right, so
I just want to double check that you can see God Discovered, the Jesus Meetup, and week 30.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And so, we are strictly spiritual teachers. Okay. Now, Alfred, it truly is so serendipitous that you and I have met, because you are this amazing futurist universes teacher. And here we are, spiritual teachers, and we've been brought together. And in light of this complementary, shared focus that we have, we're going to further explain what we're doing. It's pretty exciting.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Okay, so on our world, I think here in May of 2022, we can all pretty much agree we got some problems on our planet. We got some really big challenges. And so the problems that we have are causing us, many of us, to really question, are there any real solutions that are going to last? Okay, we're despairing a little bit for what we're all feeling and going through on this planet. And so, but our fundamental problem, for many reasons, is that Jesus' true teachings have been obscured since he was here 2,000 plus years ago. And it's been so obscured to the point that his children on his world don't even know who they really are. This is what he called them, that we were walking in spiritual darkness. And that's what it does feel like. And so our friends, our fellows out here don't understand their spiritual potentials, which are vast and quite powerful. And so what Jesus wants us to be doing spiritually in these dangerous days on this timeline is he wants us to learn who we are. He wants us to understand who the Paradise Father, who lives in paradise, as you said, Alfred, he's our great source and center of all things. And he indwells each one of us with these little tendrils of himself, which originate in paradise. And on our Father's personality circuit, these little tendrils of the Father, called thought adjusters, have come all the way to the outskirts of our super universe, onto our planet, found you, and he has incarcerated himself within your mind. He indwells you and loves you and is waiting for you to want to find him, because he wants to make personal and direct spiritual contact with you.
Right. And you emphasize that this is a real spiritual experience.
It absolutely is. And the only reason we can authentically, sincerely teach this and talk about it is because we are experiencing this for ourselves. Our writers are experiencing this. We are experiencing him. And this is no joke. This is God himself who is waiting for you to know him and for him to express himself in his way that he knows is right for you. And when that connection happens, we will not tell you what it's going to be like, because it could be different for you. But we know that we have experienced demonstrative life change. We have experienced real deep healings in places in our lives that we just couldn't get any kind of comfort before. And so we'll talk more about that later, but this is a very powerful experience. And as we make this direct contact with the Father and we find him in personal spiritual experience, the litmus test for that is that he kind of wells up within us, and we want to lovingly serve our fellows. We find we have more love, we have more compassion, we have more enthusiasm for I'll just say, for falling in love with one another in this very real spiritual family. Jesus referred to this as the human fraternity of the divine spirit. And this is a very powerful force on our world. And we will have the ability to affect spiritual and have a physical victory, because we're all involved in a very real spiritual war. It has been going on our planet for 250,000 years. It's called the Lucifer Rebellion, and we are still all caught in it. And as we can all see, the planet is just on fire. There's just such insane sophistries being put forth out there. We're going to come together and we're going to find some solutions.
Right. And so what I found, and I think what we found collectively, is that the universal and world view that we've arrived at, that is a solution, comes out of the Urantia book. That really was a fourth epochal revelation that the universe administration decided at this point, following Jesus' incarnation to the planet. They said, well, here is this book as a follow-up. And so that's why we're doing this as a follow-up to bring, from an educational standpoint, the Urantia book, its worldview, its content, to activate it more within the human soul community.
Yeah, and Alfred, the book is actually an emergency endeavor. They don't, like you said earlier, they don't normally, I think you referred to this, they don't normally do a book. And so this is an emergency situation because Jesus' gospel message got waylaid because once he resurrected, all the apostles could think about was, we just have to go tell everybody that this is the risen Christ. He just rose from the dead. And, but see, that was not Jesus' gospel message. And so then Paul comes along, and Paul created virtually his own personal religion, applying things to God that should never have been applied to him, like the atonement doctrine. Jesus never said that blood was required for forgiveness, ever. Our Father would never create a place called hell to send anyone to, and these were all Pauline doctrines. And so Jesus' actual gospel got waylaid. And so here we are now 2,000 years later with this emergency book, and God Discovered and Jesus MeetUp. We are going to pick right up where Jesus left off. We're going to bring it all back to what he said, only him. We're not going to look at Paul. We're not going to look at Peter. We're not going to look at anybody else. We're going to look directly at Jesus and find out what he said and really understand these words he used and what they mean for our lives personally. And so with this, we have God Discovered. This is our home.
Right. So where I'm at right now, just double check here on week number 30 is number 1, the Urantia book is a how-to book, giving us the path to make direct contact with our indwelling paradise father fragments, our thought adjusters. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, that's right. And
Okay.
I did chase a little rabbit over there, Alfred. Sorry, I can do that. You must help me not chase those rabbits. But yeah, the Urantia book, like you said, it's a how-to book. Now it has all this other fantastic information. Like you said, it's got our cosmology. It's got personalities that have come all the way from paradise to tell us about what our great source and sender, the Father, really is like. And then coming all the way down to part 4, we have Jesus teaching us how to make direct contact with our indwelling paradise Father in this personal spiritual experience of worship. So yeah, and so that's what God Discovered's all about. We are doing our best to create a home for this, and we hope that we'll have many, many new friends that will come.
Yeah, and I just want to make it clear that this is not a spiel for people to go out and buy books and to make money, because you can go to the God Discovered site and read the Urantia book for free there. You can go to the Urantia Foundation site, just Google Urantia Foundation. You can download it in any format. You can download it as a PDF, as an EPUB.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, it's just free.
Right.
So it's a free resources.
And we have all the audios as well on our contact page. We have the entire book, but we have all the audios. And friends, when you actually go there and begin to read this or listen to this, you will quickly discover no human being could have written this. Okay, so you have so much to look forward to.
Oh, great. Now, so what we just said was number 2, that in creating God Discovered, which is at goddiscovered.net, and the Jesus MeetUp, we're gifting everyone with a simple tool to create their own personal Jesus ministries for themselves and others, right where you live, right in your own place, in your own center. You can do what we're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna bypass all of this mega church stuff. We're now this is just us, okay, Alfred, but we feel very strongly that with God Discovered and the Jesus Meetup, we are to never ever ask anyone for money. We will never ask you for money. Everything we are doing here is geared as a gift to put into your hands, all of you out there. If you choose to become an ambassador for Jesus, we're going to hand you the tools to do this successfully. And the idea is that we keep these things small because we don't want this to be about money. We want this to be about the people and your families and supporting those who are single and supporting those who've been wounded. You know, this is all for Jesus and for his desire for all of us to come together as this human fraternity of the divine spirit. Could I share with you, Alfred? We have like 3 peers of God Discovered and kind of what they're founded upon.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I don't know if you want to scroll down on the God Discovered page.
Yeah, well, I've got the 3 peers right here, right in front of us.
Okay, great. I can't see it, but you might be able to see it. So that's
Oh,
yeah.
well, I can see it. I'm surprised that you can't see it, because you should be able to see it because it's on share screen.
Well, don't worry about it, because if you can see it, don't worry about me. I'll just keep blabbing because you know I can, Alfred.
Okay. Listen, let me just bring you up to date.
Okay.
We had targeted a certain timing for this program, and we're already at the 25-minute mark. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Good. All right. So we'll just zip on through this. So God Discovered basically has 3 peers. Okay. So the first peer would be one of what we talked about, this personal experience of attainment of the Father. The second peer is this social Jesus meetup component, where we are going to pursue this brotherhood of men and women that Jesus talked about, this loving service to our fellows. And then the third peer is this opportunity for ambassadorship or for leadership, to become leaders of the Jesus meetups. And when you get involved in this kind of service, there is a real turbo soul growth that happens. You begin to start scoring some serious soul points and soul credits, because you are purposely trying to be a part of what Jesus desires for us to do. So when we talk about our human spiritual power potentials, we can look to Jesus, and in paper 157.4.5. So the story is, we are coming into Jesus and his group. They were sitting down for a meal, and Jesus suddenly looked up into his friends' faces. And so he said, now that a full day has passed since you've assented to Simon Peter's declaration regarding the identity of the Son of Man, he says, I would ask if you still hold to your decision. He's asking the group. And so they all stand up. And Simon Peter, who was, their mouthpiece, he says, yes, Master, we do. We believe that you are the Son of the living God. And they all sat down. So Jesus is saying to them something very important for them and very important for us to understand. He said, okay, you are my chosen ambassadors, but I know in this circumstance, you could not entertain this belief as a result of mere human knowledge. This is a revelation of my spirit of my Father to your inmost souls. And when, therefore, you make this confession by the insight of the spirit of my Father, which dwells within you, I am led to declare that upon this foundation will I build the brotherhood of the kingdom of heaven. Upon this rock, of spiritual reality. Now, he's referring to their statement of belief that he is the Son of the living God. Okay? He says, upon this rock will I build, now listen to it, will I build the living temple of spiritual fellowship in the eternal realities of my Father's kingdom. Listen to this. All the forces of evil and the hosts of sin shall not prevail against this human fraternity of the divine spirit. And while my Father's spirit shall ever be your divine guide and your mentor of all who enter the bonds of this spirit fellowship, to you and your successors, I now deliver the keys of the outward kingdom, the authority over things temporal, the social and economic features of this association of men and women as fellows of the kingdom. And then he went on to tell them, okay, don't tell anybody who I am. So Jesus sat down, and they tell us he was beginning to have faith in his group. He was beginning to have faith that they would be able to withstand what was coming, which was going to be the wreckage of all of their hopes and dreams, because he was going to go to the cross and die, and he was going to leave. But he believed that they were now showing him the kind of faith that would be able to take this new light of a new dispensation to go into the world and enlighten the world, which was and still is sitting in spiritual darkness. Except Judas. Jesus knew that Judas was going to fail, but he still loved him, and he still gave him every opportunity until the very end. All of you out there, remember this about the heart of our master. He loved and still does love even Judas. Okay. So, shall I keep talking?
Oh, yeah. We're
all right,
following you.
Okay, now, so I'm going to ask you guys, get your seatbelts on, because here we go. We're going to do a deep dive in what he just said. You need to know this personally. So, Jesus refers to a living spiritual temple comprised of a group of humans. Okay? He's calling this the human fraternity that is powered by something. It's powered by the divine spirit. Our Paradise Father is our mentor and is our guide. He's talking about a group here. He is telling us that there are forces of evil and hosts of sin that are present on our world. Can we not all agree with that? We can see it every day. Sin is defined as a conscious choosing to oppose spiritual progress, okay? Listen, reality is our great source and center. Reality is our Paradise Father, and Jesus is the material, physical expression of our great source and center. So when you've seen the Son, you've seen the Father. Kind of hard to wrap our minds around that, but they can just do that. Okay, so reality is our Paradise Father's way. So if one is a force of evil and a host of sin, this means that they are consciously choosing to persistently defy what is recognized reality. They're going against the Father's way. and it signifies such a degree of personality disintegration as to border on cosmic insanity. This is what we are dealing with on a global scale today. So what we are seeing every day with what we're all experiencing, these are products of these evil Luciferian sophistries. Now, Jesus uses the word prevail in his speech. Prevail is an intransitive verb. It is an action, and it means to be greater in strength or influence, to triumph, to be predominant, to be in force. Prevail means to win. He's telling us we can win against what we are facing, all of us, today. He refers to you and your successors. Friends, this is us. He's talking about us in 2022. He mentions these keys to the kingdom. All right, let's look at what a key is. We're not sure which way he's actually using this word, but it doesn't matter because these various different ways mean this. A key is a means of gaining or preventing an entrance, a possession, or a control of something. It's a deciding factor. A key provides a solution. A key can be a switch for opening or closing an electric circuit so that energy flows through. As an adjective, it means it is extremely or crucially important. As a transitive verb, it means it is to lock or to secure with or as if with a key, to be essential to play the most important part in something. This keys to the kingdom. Now, he refers to an outward kingdom, which implies there is an inward kingdom. We're going to talk about that later. Now, here's the biggie. He says, I give you authority. Listen to what he's saying here. He's saying, I am giving you successors, us today. He is giving us authorization with permission of power to do something against these forces of evil and darkness and sin. When he uses the word over, it indicates the possession of authority over something, power over something, jurisdiction in regard to something or person. So friends, this is all, Jesus is talking all of this in terms of the spirituals, our power in the spirituals over these forces of darkness in this outward kingdom. He's telling us we have a potential to act with a superiority, an advantage, or a preference in the spiritual realm that will be more than these forces of evil and darkness that we are experiencing. We haven't known before now how to operate within this kingdom. So we got discovered, we suspect that we're given these keys to the outward kingdom because this is our world. Okay, friends, this is our dominion. We have been born on this planet, and so we are tuned into this planet and none other planet. Okay, this is our land. And so any off-worlders who don't have this, they don't have this kind of power because this world is not theirs. So that's why they have to enlist the humans on this world in order to use them to do their bidding. Do we see this all over the place? Yeah, we do. So in any event, we are the ones who've been authorized the spiritual keys to our world of this outward kingdom. We just have to learn how to use them correctly. which has been hidden and obscured from us from knowing all about this. If we can remain ignorant and uneducated in these things, well, then we can be controlled. But once we figure out the power that we have, oh, watch out, because now we can really affect a change on our world. We have to realize this is our world. We have to do our jobs in it. There's nobody else that's going to do this job. It's only us. And we got to discover, we kind of pity the fools who are the rebels that are sinfully opposing our Paradise Father and his will for 606, which is our planet's number in our system, because they are going to fail. So when he talks about the temporal, okay, these keys are going to operate in the temporal. He's relating to this earthly life on this God-given timeline that is our timeline. Alfred, this is coming into your wheelhouse here, as you've written your amazing books on chronarchies, plural. But no matter what the timeline, be it our appropriate and natural timeline, or the rebels' alternate, as you've written about AI timeline, Alfred, they're both coming out of our world, of which Jesus has given us the authority to use his keys to the kingdom. So we in God Discovered, we already have, and we will continue to work in this way. We'll talk about that in a minute, what that looks like, to request for things like this errant AI timeline to be destroyed by our higher stage personalities that have come here to help us. We're not alone. We just can't see everything that's out there. And Alfred, of course, you know so much about this. But we do have help here. And again, we're third, fourth stage beings. Okay, so we have to do that work on that level, that rather low level. But once we use our free will, our mortal free will choices to use these keys of the kingdom to unlock by request for the spiritual energy to flow, our friends who are here to help are waiting for us to do that. And then they are going to go into the jobs they can do. But they've been waiting for us. So.
Right.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Well, this is what I think, which I'm looking at this now more from a producer point of view. I know that
Sure.
That's the hat that I'm wearing. This is what I think. Since this is the Jesus Meetup, an introduction, is that we should leave number 31, our spiritual power multiplied action, for our very second program, which will happen on May 31st, so that people can come and join in on May 31st. Because when we go now to how people can really sign up and get more involved with the Jesus Meetup and with God Discovered, we're already going to be over time of the time that we discussed.
Sure.
So yeah, so are you pretty much finished here with number 30 here?
I could probably wrap things up shortly, and then
Yeah, sure.
yeah, and then maybe we can jump on over and show them how they can contact us if they want to.
Yeah.
So yeah. Basically, we just all need to understand we're in spiritual rebellion territory on our very troubled world. And the reason why I wanted to start with this is because if all of our friends out there, if you all come to understand who you really are and what you're really capable of and what Jesus thinks of you, then when we come and explain to you about God Discovered in Jesus MeetUp, it's really more about you and who you are than we're trying to do some sales pitch on some program we got going on. Okay. Hope you guys hear my heart on that. But let's just leave it with this. The firstborn of our local universe is Gabriel, the archangel. He's amazing, amazing personality. Here's what Gabriel has been doing, okay? Because he's standing against this Luciferian rebellion. Okay, it's been in court. So in paper 5384, it says, true, the Uversa tribunals have not yet rendered the executive decision regarding the appeal of Gabriel, praying for the destruction of the rebels. This is the forces of evil and the host of sin. Okay, he is praying for the destruction of the rebels. But such a decree will no doubt be forthcoming in the fullness of time, since the first step in the hearing of this case has already been taken. And so us at God Discovered are standing with Gabriel. And we're inviting all of you to stand with Gabriel as well and to take these keys, come together. We're going to learn more about this, take these keys, and we're going to have an effect on our world to win against all that we're going on in the social and the economic realms on our world.
Right. And it's just an absolute assurance. And Gabriel played a key role at the beginning of the Lucifer rebellion in limiting it to 37 worlds that rebelled.
He did. And you know, Jesus loves his children, of which Lucifer and Satan and Caligastia, the post-planetary prince, they're all his children. So he can't do the execution because he loves them. He's not going to. But Gabriel can make that request. And there is a group of beings called the Ancients of Days. They are the ones who are authorized to take care of this problem. And so now all of you understanding how important you are, hopefully you'll come back. And hopefully you'll contact us and let us become friends with you so we can get this job done.
Right. Well, we're at the beginning of a journey that continues. We know that here on Earth, Urantia, this is my guess, you are Earth Antia.
Exactly.
This was the second most terrible world of the 37 worlds that were in the Lucifer rebellion. And prior to that, it was, well, we were in a very targeted solar system here. And
Right.
Maybe you can just give some highlights of the Jesus Meetup that will be continuing our discussion next.
Okay, so I'll give you just a real quick little snapshot. We're going to talk about what we are. And we are actually spiritual circuits that are encased in an avatar. Okay, and so we're going to talk about how this works in the spiritual realm. And then we're going to talk about what happens when you bring all of these circuits together and they begin to function more like a laser. And a laser can do some serious destruction. A laser can do some serious healing and building. But when we come together in this spiritual human fraternity of the divine spirit, understanding, recognizing what we're doing, we're going to help this world be set on a course for healing and uplift. And we're going to take a deeper look at that. and what there's some really cool things here spiritually that when you guys find this out, I think you'll be pretty pumped.
Very good. Now, tell me, do you want to go to the actual webpage on godediscovered.net that has the contact information?
I think that'd be great on that page. If you could go ahead and find that now, Alfred, I'll just
Okay,
tell them.
okay, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop share. This is Zoom again.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go in and we're going to come up again. Let me see where that other, oops, where is that other?
It's the Urantia book contact up at the top.
Oh, yeah, no, I know where it is. I
Okay.
just have to find, these things are so tricky that to find that that other, let me see if I can find. So that was the other one. Now, where would I find? Let me just put this down. And now I have to, there's this one. Is that, no, that's not it. So where is that other one? Let me see if that one's it. Is that one it? No, that's not it. You know, all these, wow. These things are kind of tricky. These Zooms are very tricky. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to open up a new page and actually go there. It's so tricky. Don't ask me why, but it is. And I opened that up. And then I'm going to open up the contact page. You don't have to go like this. Yeah, these softwares like Zoom they're kind of primitive in a certain way.
Huh. Well, you're better at it than I am.
So so here we go.
There you go.
Now let me put this on enter full screen.
Yeah, I can see that now.
Can you see that?
Yeah, great. So what we're looking at, yeah. So you just fill that in there and give us a little message. Just tell us kind of what you're thinking, what you want. And then you've got a little bit of explanation of what this page is. You've got some statements of our beliefs. And then down there, you have the entire book in PDF. You can just grab that for yourself, or you can come in here and find anything in the browser. And then there's all the audios there. And that's the way I got the book. I'm an audio learner. So if you're an audio learner, I think you'll really enjoy this. You can dump it on an iPod and scoot around town or clean your house or whatever, be listening to the book. The book, oh, if you haven't done the book, you guys, you are in for an amazing ride. I mean, life-changing. It's the best ever.
Yeah, and again, so people should go to godediscovered.net. And when that comes up, you'll see on the top menu, Urantia book /contact us. That's where we are now. And this page, there's a contact us form, so you can send a message, whatever contact. And here is where you can download either the PDF of the Urantia book, get into reading it yourself,
right?
Or as Marin says, download audio files of the Urantia book itself. So it's an audio book.
And very soon we'll get into the Jesus Meetup and what that is. That's an entire year program for you to create your own. I mean, we've got wedding ceremonies, funeral ceremonies, 52 teachings. We've got little father-daughter dinner dances. We've got renewal of the wedding vows. I mean, it is social, and it's going to all be wrapped around these teachings of Jesus. You guys are going to have a blast. It's going to be so much fun.
Okay. So this has been, so we're here. Is there anything that you had wanted to say on the Jesus Meetup and introduction, Marin, that you have not had a chance to say?
Well, yeah, but I think probably we should wait till the next time.
Okay.
Because again, we're not trying to push a program on you guys. We want you all to understand who you are, what you are, and then this program is just a gift that can help you, fall in love with your friends as you all fall in love with Jesus. So we'll get to that next time. There's a lot in this website. We'll get to it as we move along. Alfred, you're so wonderful to offer us this opportunity to share with your friends and your audience. Thank you.
Oh, listen, this is the work that actually I've been doing for 50 years.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I mean, not consciously, but unconsciously.
Sure.
But look, I just want to say this, that these videos are coming out once a week, starting May 24th, 2022, and they'll come out every Tuesday. And you can find them, I'll just say, number one, on YouTube at Exopolitics TV. Just put in Exopolitics TV and you'll find them there. Or you can put in JesusMeetup.net. Go into JesusMeetup.net and you'll find all the weekly videos there as well.
And if you want to go to the Jesus Meetup in our website and you pop into that page, you'll see the 52 topics that we're going to be teaching on.
Right.
We're going to be teaching on angels and the Lucifer rebellion and Adam and Eve and the soul. And I mean, you'll see on the titles, the topics, I think will be pretty intriguing for you.
Exactly. And as we post the videos in the video description and the articles, we'll also be putting the link to the Jesus Meetup God Discovered link. So it's all combined there.
Right.
So all of a sudden you've got a whole new world for you.
Yeah, we're just so excited to meet all of you, to hear your thoughts and share and grow from each other. And it's fine if we don't agree on everything. It's fine. We can grow together. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. And remember, the Urantia revelation is the fourth apocalyptic revelation. And as Marin said, it was sent interdimensionally as an emergency measure to this planet, because anybody who is following the condition of the planet on May 24th, 2022 has got to be concerned about the state of the planet.
Yeah, we got to do this job, friends, guys. We got to get this job done. It's just this, all this stuff, this force of evil stuff, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. We got to heal. So yeah, let's go. Yeehaw, here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Well, anything else, Marin?
Just how much we appreciate you, Alfred. Thank you, dear.
Okay, well, until next week, thank you for tuning in. And in light and life, as they say.
Bye. In light and life. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.